On a seemingly ordinary spring day in May 2001, the iconic Carnegie Deli in Manhattan became ground zero for an unthinkable act of violence that would forever change how we view even the most familiar places. The deli that had served celebrities and tourists for decades was about to witness something that would make international news. What started as a normal lunch rush quickly descended into chaos, leaving witnesses traumatized and a community searching for answers. But before we dive in, some of the details in this story are disturbing and may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. As always, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with the channel. Alright, let's dive into the video. To understand the horror that unfolded that night, we must first step back into the history of the Carnegie Deli itself. Opened in 1937 by a man named Leo Steiner, the deli was more than just a restaurant, it was a cultural touchstone. Steiner, a Jewish immigrant with a passion for hearty food, named it after the nearby Carnegie Hall, hoping to attract the musicians, performers, and audiences who frequented the area. From its humble beginnings, the deli grew into an institution, serving up sandwiches so massive they became legendary. The menu featured items like the Woody Allen, a monstrous pile of corned beef and pastrami on rye, named after the filmmaker who featured the deli in his 1984 movie, Broadway Danny Rose. In that film, the Carnegie Deli is portrayed as a bustling hub for comedians, agents, and showbiz hopefuls, a place where deals were struck over pickles and coleslaw. The deli's walls told stories of their own, plastered with photographs of famous patrons, from Jackie Gleason and Henny Youngman to modern stars like Adam Sandler and Jerry Seinfeld. It was a living museum of entertainment history. Presidents dined there. Bill Clinton was a fan of their cheesecake. Tourists flocked to it, drawn by the promise of an authentic New York experience. The aroma of cured meats, fresh-baked bread, and mustard wafted out onto 7th Avenue, mingling with the exhaust of yellow cabs and the chatter of theater crowds. It was open late, catering to the after-show rush, and its slogan, "If you can finish your meal, we've done something wrong," captured its over-the-top ethos. But the Carnegie Deli was part of a larger building at 854 7th Avenue, a pre-war structure that towered over the street. The ground floor housed the restaurant, but the upper levels were apartments, rented out by the same family that owned the deli. These units were a mix of studios and one-bedrooms, affordable by Midtown standards, attracting a bohemian crowd, actors, musicians, writers, and artists chasing the dream in the shadow of Times Square. The building's location was prime, steps from Broadway theaters, close to the lights of the Great White Way, yet tucked away enough to offer a semblance of privacy. Residents could hear the hum of the city below, the occasional siren or street performer, but up there, it felt like a world apart. It was in one of these apartments on the 5th floor that Jennifer Stahl made her home. Jennifer was the kind of person New York chews up and spits out, but she refused to be defeated. Born Jennifer Ann Stahl on April 11, 1962 in Boston, Massachusetts, she spent her childhood in New Jersey, where she discovered a love for dance and performance. As a teenager, she took classes in ballet and jazz, dreaming of the stage. By her early 20s, she had moved to the city, pounding the pavement for auditions. Her big break came in 1987 with a small role in the beloved film Dirty Dancing. Though uncredited, she appeared as one of the dancers at the Kellerman's Resort, swaying in the background during iconic scenes like The Lift with Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. It was a taste of Hollywood glamour, but fleeting. From there, Jennifer landed bit parts in lesser-known films. In 1986's Necropolis, she played a reincarnated witch in a low-budget horror flick, delivering lines with a flair that hinted at untapped potential. Firehouse in 1987 saw her as a paramedic, and she popped up in I'm Your Man in 1992. Television offered sporadic work, an episode of the short-lived series Identity, a few commercials. But as the 1990s wore on, the roles dried up. Ageism in Hollywood is ruthless, and Jennifer, now in her 30s, found herself typecast or overlooked. Undeterred, she pivoted to music, A talented singer with a soulful voice, she began writing songs and recording demos. Her apartment became a makeshift studio, equipped with microphones, keyboards, and mixing boards. Friends recall her belting out originals in a style blending pop, R&B, and folk. Think a mix of Sheryl Crow and Tracy Chapman. To fund this creative life in one of the world's priciest cities, Jennifer turned to a side hustle that was both lucrative and risky: selling marijuana. This wasn't a street corner operation. Jennifer dealt in premium, high-quality strains, sourcing from trusted suppliers and catering to a niche clientele of fellow artists, musicians, and professionals. Her apartment walls featured poster-sized menus listing varieties like Purple Haze, Northern Lights, and Sour Diesel, complete with THC levels, effects, and prices ranging from $50 for an eighth to $400 for an ounce. She also dabbled in psychedelic mushrooms, appealing to the creative crowd seeking inspiration. It was discreet, word of mouth only, no advertising. In the pre-legalization era of 2001, this was illegal, but in New York's underground scene it was commonplace. Jennifer wasn't a hardened criminal. She was a survivor, using her charm and network to stay afloat. On the evening of May 10, 2001, the city was alive with spring vibrancy. The temperature hovered around 70 degrees, a perfect night for strolling Broadway. Shows like The Lion King and Aida were packing houses, and the Carnegie Deli was buzzing with pre-theater diners. Upstairs in apartment 5C, Jennifer had gathered a small group of friends for what promised to be a relaxed hangout. There was Anthony Veeder, 37, a flamboyant hairdresser and Jennifer's closest confidant. Anthony, with his quick wit and impeccable style, had been styling hair for Broadway stars and had a salon gig in the Village. He was gay, outspoken, and the life of any party, often regaling the group with tales of celebrity clients. Joining them was Rosamund Dane, 36, a schoolteacher from Massachusetts visiting New York for a getaway. Rosamund was warm and grounded, a contrast to the city's frenzy. With her was her boyfriend, Charles Trey Hellawell III, also 36, a graphic designer from Boston. Trey was laid back, with a dry sense of humor, excited to explore the city. Rounding out the group was Stephen King, 32, no relation to the famous author, a musician and sound engineer helping Jennifer with some tracks in her studio. Stephen was quiet but talented, strumming guitar riffs and tweaking mixes. The apartment was a cozy enclave. Exposed brick walls, posters of Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin, musical instruments scattered about, the faint scent of incense covering the herbal aromas from Jennifer's stock. They sipped on a bottle of Chardonnay, snacking on cheese and crackers. Conversation flowed about upcoming auditions, Broadway gossip, the latest in music. Jennifer played a demo track, her voice filling the room. It was just another Thursday in the Big Apple, full of potential and promise. At exactly 7:27 p.m., the building's lobby camera captured two men entering from 7th Avenue. They moved with purpose but no overt suspicion. Unmasked, dressed in casual clothes, jeans, hoodies, sneakers. One was Sean Sally, 29, an aspiring rapper from Brooklyn known in underground circles as Dread. Sean had met Jennifer through mutual music connections. He'd purchased from her before, building a loose acquaintance. The other was Andre Dre Smith, 31, a man with a checkered past of petty crimes and odd jobs, struggling to support a young child. What brought them there that night? Desperation, greed, and poor choices. Sean, frustrated by his stalled music career, knew about Jennifer's operation. Word in the scene was that she kept cash and product on hand. An easy score for someone in need. Andre, facing bills and family pressures, agreed to tag along. Their plan, as later revealed, was a straightforward robbery. Get in, grab the goods, get out. But plans rarely survive contact with reality. Sean buzzed the intercom. "It's Sean," he said, his voice familiar enough for Jennifer to let them up without question. No forced entry. The door clicked open willingly. As they climbed the stairs, the group inside laughed at one of Anthony's jokes, unaware. The door opened and the mood shattered. Guns appeared, a .380 semi-automatic pistol and possibly a second weapon. "This is a robbery! Everyone on the floor!" one shouted. Panic surged. Jennifer, quick on her feet, tried to calm them. "Take whatever you want," she said, her voice steady despite the fear. "The money, the weed, it's in the bedroom. Just don't hurt anyone. Please." The intruders ignored her pleas. Their faces hardened. They split the group. One herded Anthony, Stephen, Charles, and Rosamond into the living room, forcing them face down on the carpet. Hands were bound behind backs with duct tape snatched from Jennifer's supply drawer. Feet tied, mouths gagged with more tape or cloths. The victims writhed, muffled cries escaping. Meanwhile, the other led Jennifer to her bedroom studio, where a suitcase held her stash. About $1,800 in cash from recent sales, several bags of marijuana weighing around 2 pounds, and a small quantity of psilocybin mushrooms. Rummaging through drawers, they stuffed items into a backpack. Jennifer begged again. "Sean, I know you. This isn't you. Take it and go." But tension escalated. Perhaps a struggle, or cold calculation to eliminate witnesses. A single gunshot cracked through the air. Jennifer shot execution style in the back of the head. The sound reverberated, sending the bound victims into a frenzy. They struggled against their bonds, hearts pounding. The gunmen, now committed to the abyss, returned to the living room. Lining up the prone figures, they fired methodically. Bang! Stephen King, dead. Bang! Charles Hellowell, gone. Bang! Rosamond Dane, wounded, but the bullet grazed her skull, lodging in her shoulder. Bang! Anthony Veeder, a glancing shot to the head, survivable but agonizing. Blood soaked the carpet, the metallic scent mixing with gunpowder. The ordeal lasted under 6 minutes. The killers grabbed the backpack and fled, descending the stairs calmly. A lobby camera caught them exiting at 7:33 p.m., blending into the pedestrian throng. Below, in the deli, customers chatted over matzo ball soup. Servers bustled. Life continued, ignorant of the carnage above. Before we continue on, if you are enjoying the video so far, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you don't like it, let me know down in the comments. Your support truly means everything. All right, back to the video. In the apartment, silence fell like a shroud. Anthony Veeder, blood streaming from his wound, adrenaline surging, managed to loosen his bindings. His hands shook as he peeled off the tape, gasping for air. Crawling across the floor past the lifeless bodies of his friends, he reached the phone. Dialing 911, his voice was a whisper of terror. "Help, we've been shot. Multiple people down. Above the Carnegie Deli, 854 7th Avenue. Hurry, please." But in the shock, details blurred. The operator pressed for more, delaying response. Minutes ticked by eternally. Rosamond Dane, conscious but in agony, moaned softly. Finally, sirens wailed. NYPD officers and paramedics burst in, guns drawn, met by a scene of slaughter. Bodies slumped, walls spattered with blood, the air thick with death. Jennifer was still breathing faintly, her pulse weak. She was rushed to St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital, where doctors fought for hours, but brain trauma proved fatal. She was pronounced dead at 2:15 a.m. Stephen and Charles were declared dead on site, their wounds lethal. Anthony and Rosamond were stabilized. Anthony's bullet had skimmed his scalp, causing concussion and lacerations. Rosamond's grazed her temple, fracturing bone but missing vital areas. They were interviewed from hospital beds, their accounts pieced together amid painkillers and tears. The media exploded. By morning, headlines blared: "Massacre above famous deli" in the New York Post, "Bloody carnage in Midtown" in the Daily News. Reporters swarmed the building, interviewing shocked residents and deli staff. Was this a drug hit? A random act? The deli's owners, the Parker family, were horrified, emphasizing the apartment was separate from the business. Patrons downstairs recalled nothing unusual, No screams heard over the din. NYPD's Midtown North Precinct took the case, led by Lieutenant Roger Perino and Detective Irma Rivera, a veteran known for her interrogation prowess. Surveillance footage was key, clear images of Sean and Smith. Building witnesses described hearing shots but mistaking them for backfiring cars. Tips flooded the hotline. By May 11th, names were public. Sean Sally and Andre Smith wanted for murder. Motive emerged quickly. Jennifer's business made her a target. In music circles, her setup was known. Sean, struggling with rent and demo costs, saw opportunity. Andre, recently a father, needed cash for diapers and formula. A tragic irony. The hunt was on. Detectives canvassed Sean's Brooklyn haunts, interviewing associates. A girlfriend confirmed he'd mentioned a score. Andre didn't flee far. Guilt weighed heavy. On May 24th, he walked into a precinct, surrendering. In interrogation, Rivera built rapport. "Tell me what happened, Andre, for your kid's sake." He broke. It was supposed to be quick, no one was hurt. But it went wrong. He blamed Sean for the shots, claiming panic. Sean vanished. Searches in New Jersey family homes yielded nothing. The case went national on America's Most Wanted, airing reconstructions. Tips poured in, sightings in New Orleans, then Miami. Sean had taken a Greyhound bus south, hiding in cheap motels. Miami PD arrested him June 6th in a routine stop. Extradited, he faced Rivera. His story flipped. Accidental shot on Jennifer. Dre did the others. I was scared. Evidence stacked up. Ballistics matched the .38 caliber to casings. Fingerprints on tape. Survivors identified photos. Anthony's voice firm. "That's them. I'll never forget." The city, still reeling, saw arrests as justice's first step. But then September 11th, 2001 changed everything. The attacks delayed trials. Resources diverted to Ground Zero. Manhattan mourned, the massacre fading from headlines. As the dust settled from the arrests, the path to justice proved anything but straightforward. The shadow of September 11th, 2001 loomed large over New York City, diverting resources and delaying proceedings in countless cases. The Carnegie Deli massacre trial was no exception. Originally slated for earlier, jury selection finally began on April 29, 2002, in Manhattan Supreme Court, nearly a year after the horrific events. What unfolded was a courtroom drama as unusual as the crime itself, a setup that highlighted the complexities of mutual accusations in a high-stakes murder case. The defendants, Sean Sally and Andre Smith, each pointed the finger at the other, creating an irreconcilable conflict that made a joint trial impossible under standard rules. Prosecutors couldn't definitively prove who pulled the trigger in each shooting, leading to charges of second-degree murder under a theory of depraved indifference to human life. This meant the jury didn't need to pinpoint the shooter. Participation in the robbery with reckless disregard for the victims' lives was enough. Additional counts included 4 robberies and 2 weapons possessions, painting a picture of a calculated heist gone fatally wrong. To navigate the blame game, State Supreme Court Justice Carol Berkman devised an innovative and rare solution. 2 separate trials held simultaneously in the same courtroom, with 2 distinct juries. One jury would decide Sean's fate, the other Smith's. The room was divided, with jurors seated on opposite sides, and evidence presented in a carefully choreographed manner. When testimony implicated one defendant over the other, the opposing jury was excused to avoid prejudice. It was a legal tightrope walk, designed to ensure fairness while streamlining the process in a post-9/11 court system, strained by backlog. Leading the prosecution was Assistant District Attorney Stephen Nuzzi, a seasoned litigator who methodically laid out the case. Opening statements set the tone. A botched robbery escalated into execution-style killings with surveillance footage, ballistics, and survivor accounts as irrefutable anchors. Nuzzi argued that both men were equally culpable, Sean as the familiar face who gained entry, Smith as the enforcer who bound the victims. This wasn't an accident, he told the juries. It was a massacre born of greed and indifference. The defenses countered aggressively. Sean's team portrayed him as a reluctant participant, coerced by Andre Smith into a robbery that spiraled out of control. They claimed the first shot at Jennifer Stahl was accidental, a gun discharging during a struggle, and that Andre fired the rest in a panic. Sean went for a quick score, his attorney argued, but Dre turned it deadly. Andre Smith's defense went further, denying involvement altogether and suggesting mistaken identity. His lawyers pointed to inconsistencies in witness descriptions and argued the evidence was circumstantial at best. Andre wasn't there, they insisted. This is a case of guilt by association. Over the weeks that followed, the courtroom became a theater of relived trauma. Survivors Anthony Veeder and Rosamund Dane took the stand, their voices steady, but laced with the weight of survival. Anthony, still bearing the scar from his glancing head wound, described the terror in vivid detail. "We were on the floor, bound like animals. I heard the shot in the bedroom and I thought, this is it, we're all dead." Rosamund, her testimony halting at times, recounted the searing pain of her injury. "The bullet grazed my skull. It felt like fire. I'll never forget the sound, the smell. Unforgettable." Their words humanized the victims, turning abstract charges into personal devastation. Expert witnesses added layers of forensic precision. Ballistics experts linked the .380 pistol, recovered from evidence, to the shell casings at the scene, confirming it as the murder weapon. Timeline reconstructions, based on surveillance timestamps and 9/11 calls, showed the efficiency of the attack, under 6 minutes from entry to escape. Detectives like Irma Rivera testified about the interrogations, revealing the defendants' shifting stories and eventual partial confessions. Rivera's account of breaking Andre was particularly damning. He talked about needing money for his baby, but couldn't explain the blood on his hands. The juries, 12 members each plus alternates, deliberated for 2 intense days, sequestered to avoid media influence. On June 18, 2002, the verdicts came down like a hammer. Guilty on all counts. Both Sean Sally and Andre Smith were convicted of 3 counts of second-degree murder, 1 for each slain victim: Jennifer Stahl, Charles Helliwell, and Stephen King. The robbery and weapons charges stuck as well, sealing their fates. Jurors later explained that while the trigger man remained unclear, the shared intent and actions made them both responsible. One juror noted, "Andre was equally guilty because he went along with it. No one forced him." Sentencing arrived on July 30, 2002, a somber affair filled with victim impact statements. Jennifer's mother, her voice breaking, spoke of a daughter full of promise. She had so many dreams, acting and making music. They stole her light. Charles Helliwell's family mourned a kind-hearted designer whose vacation turned fatal. Trey was just starting his life with Rosamund. Now those futures are ashes. Stephen King's loved ones remembered a musician whose melodies were silenced forever. Justice Berkman, unmoved by pleas for leniency, handed down the maximum: 3 consecutive terms of 25 years to life for the murders, plus time for the other charges, effectively 120 years behind bars, with no realistic chance of parole. Sean and Andre, then 30 and 32, would spend the rest of their lives in maximum security prisons. As of this recording, both remain incarcerated. Sean Sally at Shawangunk Correctional Facility, Andre Smith at Sullivan Correctional Facility. Appeals have been exhausted, and no new developments have altered their sentences. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then check out these videos on the screen now. If you have a topic suggestion, please send it to the email in the description. And as always, remember to like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to our channel. And remember, the only thing stranger than this story is missing out on our next video.